We are on the search for snow and cold, and we might get something towards the end of the month. We'll talk about that. I'm meteorologist Joe Martucci. He's meteorologist Sean Seblin, my weather brother here. Sean, how's it going, my man?
We are doing well down here. It is a dry period for now, but you know what we're going to be getting? We're going to get rain, and we're going
Rain.
to get rain
Yeah.
again,
A
again.
lot of us that are watching this video got a
Yeah,
lot of rain Sunday into Monday here, but not all of us were as fortunate as you, Sean, to get measurable snow last week in Virginia.
I know.
What the heck?
Mainly just northward from Richmond, upwards of about an inch, but here in the metro area, most of us got a couple of tenths of an inch of snow on the backside of that system that came through late Sunday and Monday morning. So that's more snow than we had all of last year.
And he's not kidding. That's the
I'm
funny
not.
part.
I'm not. Literally, there's more snow than we had all last year.
All right, so Sean, take us through what people can
Yeah.
expect in Snow Search here. This is our second episode of the season.
Yeah, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, Snow Search is a look ahead at the potential for snow and cold, not so much the next few days, but in the following week. So in this case, we're looking at the week of December 18th. So this is a broad look at where there is potential for an individual storm. It doesn't mean that this place or that place is going to get 6 or 12 inches. And we'll do this every Wednesday, all across our Lee Enterprises network. So, Joe, take us through what kind of weather patterns and kind of climatology we should expect as we're getting closer to Christmas time now.
Yeah, we're getting closer to Christmas time, and that means a lot of us here from North Carolina on up into the Mid Atlantic see their first average snow of the year. Now, we all can't be as lucky as Sean and see a couple tenths of an inch of snow. He, of course, saw that. I'm here in New Jersey. We haven't seen any measurable snow yet. But in Buffalo, first snow of the year was October 31st, about a week ahead of schedule. That average was November 7th. But you come down here to Jersey Shore where I'm at, and that average first snow is way down the line here to December 20th. Now, we have not seen any measurable snow here in the southern part of the state or at the Jersey Shore. But if you go to Sean's neck of the woods in Richmond, he did see that snow on December, what day was it, Sean? The 11th, I believe.
It was the morning of the 11th for 2 hours between 3:30 and 5:30 in the morning.
Beautiful thing. And you were about 2 weeks ahead of schedule compared to your
Yeah, it
average
was a little
first
bit.
measurable snow. And then in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, similar to me, no measurable snow yet. The average first measurable snow is December 26th. And measurable snow means at least zero point 0.1 inches of snow or more. So as we look ahead, we look at our classic three winter indexes that we look at. That is the North Atlantic Oscillation, the Arctic Oscillation, and the Pacific North American Index. So we'll take a look at the NAO, and you see in this blue box on the right-hand side of your screen, that's next week. And, well, it's pretty positive. And when it's pretty positive, that means it's going to be pretty mild. And the storms that come through, fairly quick hitting, although early next week storm hangs around a little bit. If you like colder snow, can we do something with the Arctic Oscillation? Probably not. That's going to be positive into next week. Kind of the same story as the NAO, mild, faster moving storms. A little solace of hope in the Pacific North American Index and the PNA. It is positive here. That does mean stormy weather, cold possible, not a definite, but possible. It's more like in the deep south that you get cold and the potential for snow when it's positive. But in the Carolinas, New Jersey, even up to New York, definitely the colder shots are possible as the West really sees those well above average temperatures. But overall, Sean, I'm looking at this and, it tells me I think the AO and the NAO are going to outweigh this PNA here. And it looks like we're going to be, you know, wet storms, not necessarily white storms that come
Yeah.
on through. So take us into our 500 millibar air pressure level. That's about 18,000 feet high. And that really helps to tell the story here.
Yeah, this kind of approximates how the jet stream flow or how the winds are blowing at that level into the atmosphere. We start with that big L you see down there between Atlantic and Atlantic City. That's going to be the storm that brings the rain to the southeast and ultimately to the northeast Sunday and ultimately into Monday, and sandwiched between that two massive areas of high pressure. And there's a lot of nothing going on there. Now, that system does begin to pull to the north and stall for a day or two and just kind of lollygags or hangs off the Gulf of Maine and just kind of fills or weekends. And what you see for a lot of the area in Eastern North America, that big age, Atlanta, Tulsa, Houston, massive area of high pressure means there's not going to be a lot going on. One thing I do want to draw your attention to in the Western U.S., Billings to Denver there, that's another system which might bring a little bit of snow to the Southern Rockies in the weekend before Christmas. But let's kind of distill this as to what the radar maps might look like starting Monday morning at 6 a.m. And you see here it is green and yellow, which means rain and rain, right? You need to see the purples and the blues where we see some semblance where there might be some snow. As the storm pushes farther to the north, we do see an opportunity for some colder air to wrap around the backside. So anywhere from, let's say, Snowshoe Mountain in West Virginia, perhaps Winter Place, all the way to the Laurels of PA, but most certainly getting into the Adirondacks and possibly the Berkshires. Good chance to run up against a little bit of snow late Monday night, early on Tuesday morning next week. But once that's gone, that's gone. And we look at the clock Wednesday morning, not a lot going on. Moving ahead 24 more hours. Thursday morning, nothing. Going into Friday morning, nothing.
More
So
nothing.
we're not looking at a very active time at all once this system goes out Monday night, early Tuesday morning out of the Northeast. So when we think about how much snow might be there, Joe, this is kind of the way we would expect it. These areas in upstate New York, interior Poconos, Berkshires, Adirondacks. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you, what's the name of that little range in upstate New York? Taconic, Taconic. Is that how you pronounce
Yeah,
that?
Taconic. Yeah, that's
Taconic.
correct. Yep.
The higher terrain area in the Hudson Valley, maybe a little, but not in the city. But really, it's northern New England, it's upstate New York, Adirondacks. That's the best chance. But once you start going southward toward, let's say, the Laurels and the Appalachians, there'll probably be a little something. But in terms of legit big accumulating snow, put those chances at probably around 30%. So thinking beyond this time, we have to start thinking about the dreaded polar vortex again, right, Joe?
Yeah.
So take
Yeah.
us through what that might look like. A little stretching possibly going on later on
Yes.
next week.
Yes. So with the polar vortex, if you watched last week, we talked about this being possible, and it's happening, which is the
Mm-hmm.
polar vortex is stretching down into the northeast, not so much the southeast, but the northeast here. And what that means is that the first step of potentially getting this really frigid air and this cold has been unlocked here. So what you're looking at is the stratosphere 100,000 feet high. This polar vortex eventually can make its way down to the surface in that form of the cold air, but it usually takes 1 or 2 weeks to do so. Now, what happens is as we go from December 19th into a little bit later into the week here and into the following weekend, what this is telling me, you fast forward 1 to 2 weeks, well, you're talking about that last week of the year or the first week of the new year where that frigid air will be possible around the new year. Again, not a definite. We're only at step one. We've checked off the box for step one, but can we get the processes needed to where the jet stream dives south and we get a cold air invasion around the new year? Now, Sean, you probably remember this, 2017 to 2018 was a similar story where
Mm-hmm.
it was the end of the year, beginning of the new year, long stretch of cold temperatures. I know here in Jersey, the Delaware Bay, which is salt water, was frozen in spots. Not
Mm-hmm.
guaranteeing it, but if you like snow, you like cold, this is what you want to hang your hat on as we go forward. Can the stratospheric polar vortex translate down to the surface?
Yeah, that's the first box to check, but there are a few more boxes that need to be checked after that. But yeah, it's the first thing to be on the lookout for sure, before we look for something a lot bigger. So yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up, Joe.
Absolutely. So Sunday into Monday, it's
Mhm.
early week snow for interior New York and Pennsylvania, maybe down into Snowshoe Mountain in West Virginia. But otherwise, this is really a rainmaker for, where the majority of the population
Mhm.
is on the coastal plain here. Quiet for the rest of the week, not really expecting anything in the way of even wet weather, let alone white weather for the rest of the week. White Christmases, probably not. Probably not here, unfortunately, maybe for some, maybe fortunately for others. But as we go later into that Christmas week, into the new year, we're going to keep an eye out to see what this stretched polar vortex is.
Yeah.
So
there are suggestions that it will get colder immediately after Christmas. So we will see.
Right.
We will see.
We shall see. So Sean, I'm going to turn it over to you. The one thing that you have been searching for over the past week, whether or otherwise.
You know, I'm searching for some good Band-Aids. I'm going to tell you why. I did a lot of walking yesterday and in my dress shoes, and I had forgotten that you shouldn't walk 2 or 3 miles in dress shoes. So I got a couple blisters working on. So I got to go find some Band-Aids. That's what I got to go do.
You get like those big blister Band-Aids, the ones that are like the size like the palm of my hand.
That's exactly it, man. That stretchy thing. So it stays on that foot, on that heel, and you're good. So hope that's not too much TMI there, buddy.
No, I'm fine with that. No problem. I am
searching. What are you searching for?
Yeah, I'm searching for Sean Stellato. So last week we talked about Tommy DeVito's family, New York Giants legendary quarterback at this point. Well, just when you didn't think the story would get any better, his agent showed up, Sean Stellato. He looked like straight out of maybe Inspector Gadget, but also the Goodfellas at the same time. He is a sports agent, but Sean, maybe you do some weather agents. Maybe you can be a meteorologist agent as well. So, Sean, if you're out there in the universe and you're watching Snow Search, give me a shout. All right.
I'd like to be Jim Cantori's agent. That's what I want.
Hey, you know what, Sean and Jim, they could get along pretty well. That would actually work out all in the Italian family here. So. For Sean Sublet, I'm Joe Martucci. This is our edition of Snow Search. We're going to be back with you next Wednesday. We're going to talk to you about that Christmas week. You can follow more from us and our Lee Weather team wherever you get your podcasts with our Across the Sky podcast. New episodes come out every Monday, including this past Monday where we talked about how weather impacts holiday shopping. We spoke with the Search Engine Optimization Director for Tapestry all about it.